फेसबुक देखना है। Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the session on verbal ability based on XAT. This is the first of a few sessions which iQuanta will be conducting for you. So we all know CAT is over now. Let bygones be bygones. Let's not think much about it. अच्छा हुआ है तो कोई बात नहीं, अच्छा नहीं हुआ है तो जाने दीजिए, आगे चलते हैं, right? So the best thing that we can change is our future. There's nothing we can do about the past. So I'm not saying अच्छा नहीं हुआ. If that works, but then XAT I think is a very, very important exam because XAT is one of the most important colleges that you can crack in India. It is one of the oldest colleges. It's a brilliant college. It has a very good program, really good alumnus. So yeah, let's focus on XAT for now. Speaking with respect to XAT, guys, we will be having one session every day for you. In this particular week, there will be free sessions. But if you want to enroll, I would rather suggest if you want to enroll in the sessions iQuanta that provides you, you should go to the website, go to the iQuanta website, iQuanta.com, and basically just enroll for your XAT session. You will be having one session every day, Monday to Saturday, till the time your XAT comes on. Okay? So yeah. Right, good evening everyone. So before we move on with the XAT session, just give me a minute. Let's learn a little about what XAT has to offer, okay? Now, a few things about XAT. Well, we will only be addressing XAT today, so sorry, you'll have to wait for this or you can ask me separately. But yeah, so XAT overview, it is a lengthier exam than CAT. It's a 3-hour paper. The number of sections, you have 5 sections: decision making, verbal and logical ability, quantitative ability and data interpretation, and general knowledge and essay writing. So what basically happens is, you have these, so you have one paper, there's no breakup, like in CAT you would 40 minutes, after 40 minutes the session would end, after 40 minutes the section would end, then you have to move to another section. This does not happen in XAT. You're given a paper, you have 3 hours and these are the number of questions. This is the stipulated time. Then you have the GK and essay writing section. For this you get a brief break after 3 hours of spending time on decision making, verbal ability, quantitative and data interpretation. You're given a break, 10-minute break, and then you have GK questions and essay writing. The GK question and essay writing have no weightage as far as your XAT percentile is concerned, but they come in very, very handy and very, very important when you get to the interview. So once you get a call from Xavier's, you will be tested on your essay and you will be tested on your GK. So yeah, 5 sections. Now, you are free to divide the amount of time you want to spend on each section. If you have one section which is really strong, you might want to spend more time on it, so on and so forth. As I said, duration of exam is 3 hours 30 minutes, 105 questions, language of paper is English. Number of answer choices is 5. Like in CAT you had 4, over here you have 5. And mind you, this is important. You have +1 for a correct answer and -1/4 for an incorrect answer. But if you leave more than 8 consecutive attempts unanswered, then you get a -0.1. Right? Okay. So we're clear with the duration, we're clear with the sections, we're clear with the marking scheme. Moving on. This is how the section-wise number of questions are distributed. So Q and DI will have 27% of weightage. Decision making is a very, very important part. This is something new and I think rather scoring as well. It's based on ethics mostly. 21% weightage. And 26% weightage for VARC. Number of questions, how are they divided? Decision making, 22 questions, 22 marks. VA and LA, 26 questions, 26 marks. Quant and data interpretation, 28 questions. General knowledge, 25 questions, 25 marks. And essay to be evaluated upon shortlisting. So as I said, this part will be evaluated once you clear this. Okay. The verbal ability and logical ability section had 15 questions. Now this is what we're talking about. We're talking about last year's XAT. They had 15 questions on RC with 6 passages. How? 3 passages had 3 questions, that is 9 questions, and the other 3 passages had 2 questions each, which is 6. 9 plus 6, 15. Right? There was a customary poem with 2 questions. This is something XAT has started off late. They give you a poem all the time. And poem and parallel questions were moderately difficult, while grammar questions were easy. So guys, you can actually score well in grammar here. Now, when I say reading passages, the reading passages are a mixture of reading comprehension and critical reasoning. So we've done critical reasoning earlier as well. That will come in really handy here. Parasample questions, we've already practiced them, but yes, we'll take it take it further ahead. And yeah, that's about it. So I've told you about the exam, I've told you about the sections, and I've told you what we're doing here. So iQuanta wants you to do well in your exam. That's what we're doing. We are starting off with this series. You'll have one. Today is the first class. You'll have one class every day till this weekend. It will be a 2-hour session in the evening, 2 to 3 hours depending on the content of the class. And yeah, after that, if you want to continue with iQuanta, you'll have to enroll in the course. The link, you can join the course if you go to the iQuanta website. So yeah, I'll just take a look at your questions. In the meantime, let's get started with this types of questions. I'll just show you what XAT is expecting, the level of difficulty, and the style of questions. So we have this passage and 4 questions. This is the passage. If you want, you can take a screenshot. I'm going to toggle to the next page. You can take a screenshot here as well. Some of you who would like to read the questions before the passage can take a screenshot of this page. And you can take a screenshot of this page as well. Okay, I'll go back to the passage. It's a very interesting passage, guys. Try and understand what the passage is saying. You'll really enjoy this passage. I think you should enjoy the passage. I totally did. Might sound a little difficult as far as the language is concerned, but overall you should be able to understand it. So yeah, looking at some of your questions. So XLRI is a brand in itself, not just HR. It's really really good for others, other streams as well. Marketing also is really really good. XLRI itself is a brand. It's the best for HR, but it is a brand itself, so you shouldn't have such doubts going there. Yes, grammar भी पढ़ाई जाएगी, बिल्कुल पढ़ाएंगे, grammar पढ़ाएंगे, सब कुछ पढ़ाएंगे. We'll do everything from scratch, whatever you need for the JAT exam, each and everything. Don't worry about it. But you need to stay focused, guys. ज़्यादा time बचा नहीं है. Make the most of what you have. One last push, and let's see what we can get. If some of you are asking me questions based on your profile, guys, I would request you to get in touch with our iQuanta team regarding your profile. They'll be able to help you out better. I mean, I can help you out, but if I start addressing your profiles individually, as in CGPA and your work ex and which college are you from, then I won't be able to go through with the session. And I see some of you find my voice disturbing. You will see there is a button called mute on your system, and you can also reduce the volume. So probably try that. It's not rocket science. I'm afraid Ritika, I won't be able to do that. That's why I asked you to take a screenshot. If you want, I can help you take a screenshot again. I'm afraid, Ritika, I won't be able to share this in the group, but yeah, okay. This is the first page. This is the second page. This is the first set of questions. Yes, I think Mukta, it should be available. This is the second set of questions. I agree with you, Mandeep. Yes, interesting RC. Relatable much, in fact. Yes, of course, I'll read the RC. Yes, Aman, this is on YouTube as well. Most welcome, Vishal. No problem, Ritika. Okay, you have 2 minutes to answer the questions and then we get on with the poem. Oh, sorry, with the passage. You have another 2 minutes. तो यार ZAT का ना थोड़ा verbal का level अच्छा ही रहता है. I wanted you to be aware of what is expected out of you. I mean, no false hopes here. See, the thing is, nobody said it would be easy, but it would definitely be worth it. Okay, let's begin. We can answer Fermi's paradox in two ways. Perhaps our current science. Okay, first things first. I can't stop and explain you everything, but we will look at this RC from the perspective of your examination. So if you have no other help, how would you go about and approach this RC? Yeah, we can answer Fermi's paradox in two ways. Perhaps our current science overestimates the likelihood of extraterrestrial intelligence evolving. Or perhaps evolved technical intelligence has some deep tendency to be self-limiting, even self-terminating. This is important. After Hiroshima, some suggested that any aliens bright enough to make colonizing spaceships would be bright enough to make thermonuclear bombs and would use them on each other sooner or later. So here we're drawing an analogy between humans and supposed aliens. I suggest a different, even darker solution to the paradox. Basically, I think the aliens forget to send radio signals or colonize space because they're too busy with runaway consumerism and virtual reality narcissism. Once they turn inwards to chase their shiny pennies of pleasure, they lose the cosmic plot. Shiny pennies of pleasure, they lose the cosmic plot. So, when they start focusing on their pleasures, they lose the bigger picture. The fundamental problem is that an evolved mind must pay attention to indirect cues of biological fitness rather than tracking fitness itself. This was a key insight of evolutionary psychology in the early 1990s. Although evolution favors brains that tend to maximize fitness as measured by numbers of great grandkids, no brain has capacity enough to do so under every possible circumstance. Okay? As a result, brains must evolve shortcuts, fitness promoting tricks, again, shortcuts for fitness promoting tricks, cons, recipes and heuristics are self-help things, heuristics that work on an average under ancestrally normal conditions. Technology is fairly good at controlling external reality. So when I say external reality, it is basically what people see to promote real biological fitness. But it's even better at delivering fake fitness, subjective cues of survival and reproduction without the real world effects. Fitness faking technology tends to evolve much faster than a psychological resistance to it. So basically we're saying that psychologically, if we are actually getting fit is more difficult than fitness and using fitness faking technology. With the invention of Xbox 360, we all know what Xbox 360 is. So the author is giving the hint of Xbox 360 to talk about pleasure. Right? Runaway consumerism, virtual reality narcissism. Virtual reality narcissism, when I say narcissism, it means a force which is dominating. People would rather play a high resolution virtual ape in Peter Jackson's King Kong than be a perfect resolution real human. So they would rather be a character in probably a video game than actually being fit. Teens today must find their way through a carnival of addictively fitness faking entertainment products. See, the focus again is fitness over and over again. The few young people with the self-control to pursue the meritocratic path often get distracted at the last minute. Around 1900, most inventions concerned physical reality, and in 2005, focus shifted to virtual entertainment. See the difference? Physical reality and virtual reality. Freud's pleasure principle triumphs over the reality principle. Today, we narrowcast human interest stories to each other, rather than broadcasting messages of universal peace and progress to other star systems. So, we are more interested in telling other humans about what we are doing in life. Guys, it's a perfect example. Social media is a perfect example, right? People are talking about God knows what not because this is the norm these days. Rather than broadcasting messages of universal peace and progress to other star systems. So I think this is where you can actually start relating to the passage. Maybe the bright aliens did the same. So what we're saying is, earlier we said that they probably were busy fighting amongst each other, but we're not saying they're busy fighting amongst each other. What we're saying is that they, just like humans, are so involved with pleasure activities that they are not looking out for any other extraterrestrial life form. So like we would be aliens for them, they're not looking out for it. Maybe the bright aliens did the same. I suspect that a certain period of fitness faking narcissism is inevitable after any intelligent life evolves. Certain period of fitness faking narcissism is after any intelligent life evolves. So again, fitness faking narcissism, mind you, again the word narcissism is being used. So we're saying we are so engrossed in our own selves that we're not looking at the bigger picture. This is the great temptation for any technological species to shape their subjective reality to provide the cues of survival and reproductive success without the substance. Most bright alien species probably go extinct gradually, allocating more time and resources to their pleasures and less to their children. Yeah? Okay. Heritable variation in personality might allow some lineages to resist the great temptation and last longer. Some individuals and families may start with an irrational Luddite abhorrence of entertainment and technology, and they may evolve even more self-control, conscientiousness and pragmatism by combining the family values of the religious right with the sustainability values of the Greenpeace. Right? They wait patiently for a fitness faking narcissism to go extinct. So there is still hope, we're saying. Those practical-minded breeders will inherit the Earth as like-minded aliens may have inherited a few other planets. Why are we saying may have inherited? Because just like humans, they probably would be so engrossed in their own selves that they're not looking out. When they finally achieve contact, it will not be a meeting of novel readers and game players. It will be a meeting of dead serious super parents who congratulate each other on surviving not just the bomb but the Xbox. Could you follow the passage? Now, a little more clear? Pragmatism means practicality. So yeah, this is actually what has happened nowadays. So recently, I was working for the Delhi government and I was teaching at a school for the underprivileged. It was a summer project that I had taken up. So they were really poor children, and all of them had cell phones, and all of them were involved with their cell phones. They would not play cricket, they would not play football, they would not participate in activities, but they're so engrossed in Instagram reels. At what cost? So yeah, this is what is happening. Chaliye. Let's move to the questions. Among the following options, which one represents the most important concern raised in the passage? Extraterrestrial life and its impact on human beings. Guys, we're not talking about extraterrestrial life and its impact on human beings. Rather, we are wondering if what happened to us might have happened to extraterrestrial life as well. Lack of interest in developing proper fitness. Yes. Fitness. Lack of interest. That's the main concern of the author. Short-term pleasure-seeking behavior. We're not sure whether the pleasure-seeking behavior is short-term or long-term. D. Technological advancement and extinction of intelligence. Extinction of intelligence is too stern, too far off to say. We are not sure whether intelligence is extinct or not. We're saying it is not being put to good use. E. Tendency of brain to develop shortcuts. Yes, that is something which is mentioned in the passage, but that is not the most important concern. So the answer is B. Second question. Which among the following would be the best possible explanation for the lack of contact between human beings and aliens? क्या हो सकता है आंसर? Overestimation of the technological capability of aliens. Guys, if we overestimate the it may be true that overestimation means that they probably do not have the technological capability to meet with us right now. But nowhere do we say that technology has been overstated. B. Genetic variation in aliens' personality is not yet achieved. That's immaterial. We're not talking about genetic variation. Thermonuclear bombs might have destroyed all aliens. Well, this is what the first paragraph says. But the author goes on to say that he has an even darker explanation. Colonization of space is impossible to achieve, not a concern. Yes, all of you got this right, I think. Aliens have become self-centered and pleasure-seeking. So they are not looking at the bigger picture. They are only concerned with this. The question, it's on the board, Jayant. Moving on. To which of the following statements would the author of the passage agree the most? Okay. So we're saying author agree. Now the author is saying that we are too involved in seeking pleasures that we're not looking at any progress. Now what would the author agree with? Alright, let's see. Violent crime indulging gang warfare for turf protection and expansion coexists in all technological advanced societies in spite of proliferation of fitness faking technologies. So we're saying that fitness, including warfare and turf protection. So there are people who are indulging in other activities as well apart from pleasures. Author is actually going against this. Ritik, that's a very good answer. Mandeep, good answer. All those who've answered D, very nice answer. B. The technology to produce fitness-faking gadgets is guided by the government's desire to control the minds of citizens and keep citizens away from engaging in troublemaking activities. Technology, we are not sure whether it's the government's desire. So this is wrong. In fact, misleading question. See, countries that have the most advanced technology often are the ones that are at the forefront of colonial expansion through wars. So guys, we're saying that countries that have most advanced technology, the most advanced technology would probably have the most pleasure-seeking attributes as well. They would not need to go at the forefront of colonial expansion through wars. They would rather be chilling in their houses, relaxing. This is also something which is going against the very fabric of what the author is saying. Wars and colonial conquest engaged in by the European nations after the Renaissance would not have occurred had fitness-faking gadgets and consumerism existed in those countries during those times. So, a brief look at the history of time in Europe. There was a time called Dark Ages, alright? Dark Ages was a time when there were, religious wars going on. That was the time that Christianity was being spread, and it was being spread at a very aggressive rate. So, it was a time when everything had to be by the book, by the Bible that is, and nothing else. Nobody could just stand against the religion. Example would be Galileo Galilei, the great discoverer, what to call him. He said the earth is round, and because the church believed the earth is flat, he was punished for it. Okay, so there was a time of suppression which led to an age of enlightening. So humans are such a species that you can't be kept under wraps for a very long time because we're mentally very evolved. So what happened was there was a time of enlightenment, the age of enlightenment, Renaissance. When there was a lot of enlightenment, people started expressing themselves, people started exploring things. There were very many philosophers then, René Descartes, Leonardo da Vinci, Socrates, Plato, and whatnot. And that was a time of, real enlightenment, which in turn led to industrial revolution after maybe 300 years. And that's why we were culturally evolving as well. You remember we did a passage about cultural wasteland where we had this Nazism and fascism prevalent in the US. This is very similar to it. So yes, the author of the passage would agree that wars and colonial conquest engaged by the European nations in the Renaissance would not have occurred had fitness-faking gadgets and consumerism existed during those times. Right? E. Yes, crusades. Crusade was the time I was looking for. Thank you, Mandeep. Yes, Soumyadeep. Crusades. Right, that was the term I was looking for. E. The search for colonies is undertaken by all countries irrespective of their technological expansion. This colonial expansion is guided more by need for adventure than for resources. This is again irrelevant. Now, question number 4. I think we've already found the answer to question number 4 from question number 3. Which of the following statements, if true, challenges the ideas presented in the passage the most? We discussed violent crime, including gang warfare for turf protection and expansion, coexists in all technological advanced societies in spite of proliferation of fitness-faking technologies. Guys, if this were true, if there are fitness-faking technologies, people would more be concerned with the pleasures of life and nothing else. So first is true for sure. We discussed. Second is talking about government desire. We can't talk about this. Third also will challenge the idea presented, because if country is technologically advanced, they will according to the passage, they'll be sitting in their houses and not do anything. So 1 and 3. Any option which has 1 and 3, 1, 3 and 4. Okay. We have 1, 3 and 5. So I'll not check for anything else. I'll just check for 5 as well. Teenagers having access to technology engage in more socializing away from parental supervision than those who do not have access to such technology. This is in no way weakening the author's contention. Clearly the answer is yes. How was the passage? Did you like it? Nikhil, why are you not motivated after CAT? If your CAT has not gone well, you should be even more motivated to do well in your next exam. That's a weird question. Right? Okay. I think I've taken more time than I intended to take for this passage. There's another passage that I have which I thought we will attempt in the class, but I think we will not have enough time for it. So I'm going to skip it and move to other types of questions. If we're left with time, we'll come back to it. Okay? Just a second. Okay, this is a smaller passage. I think we can attempt it. So guys, take 5 minutes. One passage, one question. Let's go. Quickly. So carrot and stick approach is basically an approach which is basically talking about incentivizing things that you do. Imagine this, that you're sitting on probably a horse or maybe a donkey. You have a stick in your hand and you dangle a carrot with it. If you keep dangling the carrot in front of you, the donkey will keep walking towards it in order to have it. That's where the word comes from, carrot and stick approach. I think that's what you wanted to know. Most of you would have known that either, in fact. So yeah, let's go. You get grammar questions as well in XAT. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So LR will not exactly be the kind of LR section you've had in a CAT. It would be more based on verbal logic. I think it's a fairly simple passage, not very difficult. You get the overall gist of the passage. Yeah, I think most of you got this right. I'll just go through it once quickly. The motivation of human beings towards their work is a subject matter that is once a simple as well as an extremely complicated matter. For a long time, economists, sociologists, as well as psychologists believed that a carrot and stick approach, with monetary incentives playing the role of the carrot, would be sufficient to good employees towards achieving higher levels of performance. However, a number of recent studies and observations, especially dealing with the open source revolution, are placing on the table strong evidence suggesting that monetary incentives are only one part of the entire story of motivation through incentives. In a study conducted by a group of researchers at MIT, it was found that monetary incentives work well only in respect of tasks acquiring mechanical skills, that is, those tasks not requiring much use of higher level of cognitive abilities. Cognitive abilities are abilities related to your brain, such as memorizing or problem solving. In fact, their studies show that setting high monetary incentives for tasks requiring cognitive abilities were more likely than not to produce adverse outcomes. So we're saying that for mechanical skills, monetary incentives work well. Monetary incentives for cognitive skills, abilities will produce adverse outcomes. Alright? Since this result flew straight in the face of the widely accepted body of knowledge on employee motivation, they conducted multiple experiments in different settings and countries to ensure that it was not a one-off result. One-off result means a fluke or just a one-time result. The findings were the same in all repetitions of the experiment. These studies appear to suggest that monetary incentives need to be provided only to such an extent as to take the minds of employees off the issue of money and focus on other issues that are necessary to get the job done right. For instance, some experiments have shown that greater autonomy is the way you work on your own free volition, and lowered interference from management is successful in driving the performance of employees working in cognitive skill intensive jobs. I think most of you got this right. We'll just go through the answer quickly. Identify the statements that are logically consistent with the content of the paragraph. A. First, the carrot stick approach essentially requires the use of rewards to get more of a desired behavior, whereas penalties lead to increase. Nowhere have we spoken about penalties. Right? Second, expending time and effort on the design of monetary incentives is a wasteful exercise. Wasteful to extreme. Third, the studies by the group of MIT researchers was a flawed exercise from the start. No, it's not flawed. In fact, we are following it. It was not a one-off thing. Fourth, there appears to be a need to reorient the existing paradigm prevalent in incentive design. Yes, there has to be a need to reorient the paradigm. Fourth is correct. Fifth, during the process of designing incentives, one should clearly delineate activities into those requiring mechanical skills and those requiring higher level cognitive skills, and design with separate sets of incentives and penalties for each. Yes, exactly. So, I hope this is clear. Right, okay. Let's take a look at two grammar questions. It's a grammar question. This is grammar vocabulary mixed. No hints for this. You have say 5 minutes for both the questions. Try both the questions, please. I think all of you got the first one correct. There is not much difficulty in getting to this place, and it is not possible to reach it without the grace of the Lord. So, A. Let's take a look at the seventh question. Nature is dash and unchangeable, and it is dash as to whether its hidden reasons and dash are dash to man or not. Okay. So, guys, nature cannot be indifferent. Nature cannot be apathetic. No, it cannot be, it can be indifferent, it cannot be heartless, and it cannot be apathetic. Can be relentless, okay. Harsh, okay. Inescapable, okay. Indifferent will be followed, okay. In fact, even apathetic. Apathetic and indifferent will always be followed by 2. यहाँ पे तो 2 है ही नहीं. So indifferent भी हट जाएगा. बचा last. Inescapable, unconcerned activities and intelligible. Yes, the answer is E. I hope this is clear. Okay. This is an interesting passage, but I'm not sure if we have enough time. So let's take a look at the other types of questions. We'll come back to it if we're left with time. Okay. Alright. Try this, please. There are 2 parts to this question. You have a passage here, and this is the first question, and then you have another question which is this. So read the passage carefully. Anika, nature can be indifferent, but indifferent will be followed by the word to. You don't have to in that blank. It's a 2-hour class. Does that answer your question, Anika? Okay. Media are just not passive channels of information. Not only do they supply the stuff of thought, but they also shape the process of thought. And what the internet seems to be doing is chipping away our capacity for concentration. Which of the following, if true, would most strengthen the argument presented above? Nietzsche was forced to use a typewriter when he started losing his vision. After he mastered the machine, he could type with his eyes closed. It was later found that under the effect of the machine, Nietzsche's prose changed from arguments to aphorisms, from thoughts to puns, from rhetoric to telegram style. So it was not argumentative anymore, but this does not tell us how his concentration reduced. In fact, it increased. B. One of the effects of the timekeeping instruments has been that we have started deciding on our daily activities based on the clock and not based on our senses. It does not talk about concentration at all. C. Studies have shown that the essay writing skills of an average 15 to 20-year-old who spends a lot of time browsing the internet is comparable to what it was among the average 15 to 20-year-old throughout the 90s, 80s and 1990s. This tells us that there has been no effect of technology. D. A recent study has shown that the number of people who fall asleep while reading a printed book has increased in the last 5 years. Why? Because they have reduced concentration. Hence, D. This would strengthen the argument presented above. Option E says the ability of the younger judges who have grown up with ready access to internet to judge complex and intricate cases has on an average become better as compared to what it was for judges of comparable age profile during the 1920s. Talks about the ability of the younger judges, again, not our concern. If anything, it is actually weakening the argument because to pass a judgment, you will have to have good concentration. Samadip, it has an effect, but it is not hampering the concentration. Yes, Mandeep, correct. We just discussed this. Short should not take a lot of time. So to weaken the argument presented, you would have to say that in the presence of something, concentration has rather improved. Yes, all of you got this right. 11th is E. Great. Let's go ahead. C says studies have shown that the essay writing skills of who is comparable to what it was. Right, Radha? So it's not weakening the argument. It is neither weakening nor strengthening. It's saying it has had no effect. Okay. Guys, another reading comprehension passage. I would request you to take a screenshot here now. Then I'll move to the next page. And then I'll show you the questions as well. Then you attempt them at your speed. And I'll give you 5-7 minutes to attempt it. Then we'll have a discussion. Radha, are you clear? Okay, I hope you've taken the screenshot. Moving on. This is the next page. Screenshot quickly. Moving on. The questions, first two of them. Screenshot please. And last page. Sorry, second last page. You have 14th as well as the 15th question are based on this passage. So take a screenshot please, 14th question. Moving on, 15, that should be last one of it. Alright, take 5 minutes to read the passage. I will toggle the screen once I think you're done with it. I have not done it with you, Arun. Then you should get all of them right, Arun. Let's see. Guys, please remember, I've told you already, this is iQuanta's initiative for you guys to do well in XAT. We will be providing you with free classes till the end of this week. And then you will have to enroll if you want to continue with iQuanta, which I think you will. To enroll, you'll have to go to the website and you can enroll for the XAT course there. And we will be providing you classes every day, Monday to Saturday, till the date of your exam for XAT. Rigorous practice. You have 1 month, guys, make the most of it. Please make sure you do this. The decision making classes will start from tomorrow. Well, it's just one free class for you every day till the weekend. Apart from that, next week onwards, we'll have probably 2 to 3 decision making classes every week. All this information is given on the iQuanta website. You can go check it there as well. Ashok, there is no hard and fast rule that passes will be lengthier or shorter. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. They can be short, they can be lengthy, they can be same size. I'm not sure. I will be taking regular classes, yes, for sure. But I'm not sure if they will be on YouTube or Facebook. This is something which is logistics. I'm not aware of it.
चौड़े कर दे कमर दर्द मेरे घुटने तो तेंदुए के टट्टे से भी ज्यादा कमजोर हो गए हैं। क्या आप भी दर्द के बारे पीना चाहते हैं फिनाइल? हाँ। क्या आप भी नहीं कर पा रहे हैं डॉगी स्टाइल? हाँ। आपको चाहिए ये आयोसेक्स। आयोसेक्स? हाँ हाँ आयोसेक्स, जो आपकी त्वचा के अंदर जाकर आपके दर्द के जो तट चौड़े कर दे। कमर दर्द का क्या? कमर क्या गर्दन, चाहे इसे लगा के हिला दो अपना लंदन। आयोसेक्स है सबसे भरोसेमंद। कम भी बदबू का क्या? हमारे एक्सपर्ट से इसमें मिलाए नुना फतेह की बगल के पसीने के एक्सट्रैक्ट। आयोसेक्स
This was going on somewhere outside. Sorry. Are we done with the questions? Okay. The argument says, come back to the class please. The argument says, of the several features of the Toyota production system that have been widely studied, most important is the mode of governance of the shop floor at Toyota. Work and interrelations between workers are highly scripted and extremely detailed operating procedures that have to be followed rigidly without any deviation at Toyota. Despite such rule-bound rigidity, however, Toyota does not become a command control system. It is able to retain the character of a learning organization, right? In fact, so we are basically saying that they have rigid rules, yet they are very productive. It does not become a command control system. Okay. In fact, many observers characterize it as a community of scientists carrying out several small experiments simultaneously. The design of the operating procedure is the key. Every principle must find an expression in the operating procedure, that is how it has an effect in the domain of action. Workers on the shop floor, often in teams, design the operating procedure jointly. So they design the operating procedure jointly with the supervisor through a series of hypotheses that are proposed and validated or refuted through experiments in action. This is pretty much like, a democracy. A worker comes up with a problem, they discuss it with the senior manager, but there is freedom of thought. The rigid and detailed operating procedure specification throws up problems of the very minute kind, while its resolution leads to a reframing of the procedure and specifications. This intertemporal change of the specification is done at the lowest level of the organization, closest to the site of action. Okay, closest to the site of action. And also lowest level. Important terms. One implication of this arrangement is that system design can no longer be rationally optimal and standardized across the organization. It is quite common to find different work norms in contiguous assembly lines because each might have faced a different set of problems and devised different countermeasures to tackle it. Design of the coordinating process that essentially imposes the discipline that is required in large-scale complex manufacturing systems is therefore customized to variations in man-machine context. See, it is customized, so they are flexible with it. Okay? It evolves through numerous points of negotiation throughout the organization. It implies then that the higher levels of the hierarchy do not exercise the power of the fiat. Fiat basically refers to a decree. D-E-C-R-E-E. Matlab, a law sort of thing. In setting work rules, not exercise decrees. So there is, a free hand. For such work, rules are no longer a standard set across the whole organization. It might be interesting to go through the basic Toyota philosophy that underlies its system designing practices. The notion of the ideal production system in Toyota embraces the following: the ability to deliver just in time, a customer order in the exact specification demand in a batch size of 1, and hence an infinite proliferation of variants, models and specifications, defect free, without wastage of material, labor, energy or motion, in a safe and a standardized product that can be cheap by giving up variations. Preserving consumption variety was seen in fact as one mode of serving society. It is interesting to note that the articulation of the Toyota philosophy was made around roughly the same time that the Fordist system was establishing itself in the US automotive industry. So guys, maybe you've not got the passage exactly, but what we're saying is that the lower level management, the lower level workers and the top level management, they work on issues similarly. I mean, together. They don't leave things out. Well, let's move on to the questions. Most of you have answered them correctly. What can be best defended as the asset which Toyota model of production leverages to give the vast range of models in a defect-free fashion? A says, large-scale complex manufacturing system. Guys, we're not concerned with large-scale. That's not the contention. Intellectual capital of the company's management. We're not talking about the intellectual capital of the company's management alone. Loans taken by the company from banks and financial institutions. Yes, ये हो सकता है. नहीं, sorry, ये भी नहीं हो सकता है. Loans. We're not talking about loans. Ability of workers to evolve solutions to problems. Yes, this is the right answer. Most of you got this right. Skill and charisma of the top leadership. It's not the skill and charisma of the top leadership. In fact, it is the work they do with the lower level workers. Skill and charisma has not been spoken of. Alright, 13th. Which of the following can best be defended as a precondition for the Toyota type of production system to work? I think this is similar to the first question. A very simple answer to this as well. A says existence of workers' union to protect workers' rights. Guys, nowhere have we spoken about workers' rights, right? Or nowhere have we spoken about union. Existence of powerful management to create unique strategies. Powerful management to create unique strategies. No, it's not the management that is creating strategies. It is the workers with the management that create strategies. Cordial worker management relations to have industrial peace. Guys, we are not talking about industrial peace here. We're talking about solutions, good solutions. D says high management involvement towards problems identified by workers. This is exactly opposite. The involvement is not there. High management is not really involved towards problems identified by workers. E said management's faith in workers' abilities to solve problems in a rigorous manner. Faith in workers' abilities, yes. That is a precondition. Because unless and until the management does not have faith, there cannot be any innovative solutions. Right? Okay. 14th question. Based on the above passage, which of the following statements is best justified? A. Workers have significant control rights over the design of work rules that allow workers' skill and ingenuity to continuously search for novel micro solutions using information that often sticks to the local micro context of the work. We have to justify. Okay. Workers have significant control rights over the design of work? No. They don't have significant control rights. They, along with the management, find out solutions. Sorry, my bad. They have significant control rights. Yes, absolutely. That allow worker skills and ingenuity to continuously search for novel micro solutions. Yes. A is actually correct. Yup, A is right. B says managers have significant control rights over the design of work rules that allow worker skills and ingenuity to continuously search for novel micro solutions around. Now this is saying managers have significant control rights, which is not the case. C. Work rules enable the workers to report problems faced at the shop floor to specialized personnel who set up experiments to replicate the conditions. This allows the specialists to come up with solutions that are rigorously tested in an experimental conditions. Okay, out of context. D. Toyota as an organization has extensive networks with different specialists who are subject matter experts in different fields. Guys, different fields out of context. These networks allow problems to be resolved in the most advanced manner, enabling Toyota to beat the competition. Last says, E. Toyota's products are extensively tested by customers in simulated conditions before they are released to the market. This extensive testing is done by workers who double up as a community of scientists experiment to develop the most advanced product. Yeah, that's it. Okay, A is the best answer. Most of you got this right, so good. What could be the best defense of the different work norms in continuous assembly lines? Right. Without such variations allowed, rights of manager to design work rules would have made very little sense. Rights of manager to design work rules, making the company similar to Ford. We are talking about different work norms in different continuous lines. A is only talking about rights of manager. Option B, proscribing means to restrict. Proscribing standardized work norms would prevent Toyota from benefiting from workers problem solving. Yes, if you restrict this, then it would prevent you from benefiting from workers problem solving ability in resolving different kinds of problems that emerge, thus making it difficult to attain the Toyota philosophy. Yes, these are different work norms in contiguous assembly lines. B is also correct. Akash, if I say that they report shop floor problems to managers, we are only concerned with shop floor problems. That is only one set of problems. We are concerned with problems overall. There can be a problem during assembly, there can be a problem in procuring of raw material, there can be many other problems. All of them are taken care of. C is very specific. C, if similarities are imposed, rights of workers to experiment with work rules would have made very little sense. D says standardization of work rules is only justified when the investments in plants are huge and experimenting with the work rules would be detrimental to the efficiency of the plants. Since Toyota's plants typically involve low investments, it could tolerate non-standard work rules. No, it does not talk about different work norms at all. E says with standardization of processes, right of workers in design of work rule made sense. Since Toyota's manufacturing processes were non-standardized, the different work norms did not make sense. Clearly, B. B is the best answer. Right, now I would say that this passage was, like reading it was easier than the last passage. And also the questions I think were much easier than the last question. I've heard this over and over again, ये पहले हो चुका है, but still, it was here, so we had to do it. Let's try another set of questions. Let's talk about grammar here. Take a look at the 16th question. You have 2 minutes. Come with an answer. Oh. So guys, this is a very scoring question. It's very simple, very scoring. This is a make or break situation. It's a very simple question. A lot of you have answered this correctly. The question is, which of the following sentences is grammatically incorrect? Incorrect पूछा है. A says bats are able to fly in the dark. There's nothing wrong with it. Bats can fly in the dark. Talking about capability. Bats have the ability to fly in the dark. Ability to. Correct. Bats cannot fly in the dark if it rains. Maybe not, but grammatically this is correct. Factually, maybe not. Bats have the ability of flying. Galat. Ability is always followed by to. And hence, E is your answer because it is grammatically incorrect. Alfredo was a former football player, Argentinian. Alfredo, Diego, and Lionel are discussing Argentinian football. Alfredo says Argentina was a football powerhouse. He's talking about the past. Okay. Diego, Argentina is a football powerhouse. Okay. Present. Lionel, Argentina will be a football powerhouse. Future. Okay. Which of the following can be incorrect from the above conversation? Can be incorrect, mind you. Lionel is optimistic about the future. This is correct. Alfredo, Diego, and Lionel may disagree. Mind you, it says may disagree. It does not say will disagree. It says may disagree. हो सकता है, ये नहीं भी हो सकता है. See, Diego views the present positively. Diego is present. Yes. Alfredo completely disagrees with Diego. Guys, we do not have enough information whether he disagrees or not. We only know what Alfredo talks about in the past. Diego talks about what is in the present. Alfredo and Messi talks about the future. D has to be their answer. Alfredo has positive feelings about the past. Yes, true. Alright, moving on. Yes, why should, but there is no reason for you not to invest in poem RC. In fact, poem RCs are shorter than normal RCs and sometimes even simpler. Yes. Can be incorrect पूछा है ना? Eighteenth is another scoring opportunity missed. It says on a wing and a prayer. Now most of you will say on a wing and a prayer like they're very confident. If they're very confident, why the prayer? They are praying because they are not prepared. The answer is D. Are we clear with this? This is a typical trick question. Moving on, 19th. 19th is easy, guys. 19th is very, very easy. So on a wing and a prayer, on a wing and a prayer is an idiom. On a wing, that means on one wing. When you're with one wing, you are not completely strong. You're not entirely strong. And a prayer. So you are not very strong, but you are praying that you succeed, and that's why still, and then you're there. That's why underprepared is the option. If you guys see in the second question, it's very simple. It may not look like, might nahi aayega. It may not look like a great deal today, but back then it was a coup. No man, back then it was a coup. This is simple past tense. And we are talking about two actions here. No, a coup where no man before has dared is present tense cannot be the right answer. No man before ever dared to import tea directly into Ireland. No, we can't do tea directly. We need the past perfect tense, because there are two actions happening in the past. You have to denote action. Actions happening in the past. To denote action, first action takes simple past and the second action takes past perfect. Sorry, the first action takes past perfect and the second action takes simple past. Just to give you an example, if you have to translate this sentence into Hindi, when जब आप क्लास पहुंचे क्लास शुरू हो चुकी थी, what would be the sentence? You would say when you reached this. When I reached the class, had started. Two actions in the past. Yes. Two actions happening in the past. One, reaching the class. The second, class started. If I ask you which action happened first, did you reach the class first or did the class start first? So obviously when I talk about which action happened first, the class started first, right? Yes, the class started first, hence you use past perfect here. And the second action takes simple past. So, simple past and past perfect, hence had dead, thereby be. Yes, back to class 10, but we'll have to go there because grammar is scoring. It will be there in XAT, so why not brush it up a little? May is preferred. Might is not. May is preferred over might. Might is very, very informal. May is formal. So when I say it may rain, it might rain, they're similar, they're acceptable while speaking, but if you have a choice, you will use may instead of might. Generally, might is used for the past of may. So I might have done this if I might have gone for a movie if I did not have a class, something like that. Okay, moving on. Sunishta, I would say to brush up your grammar basics, join the iQuanta course, we study grammar. Otherwise, there's no resource as such. See, most of the information is available online. What you could do is maybe, go through previous year's XAT papers. That should give you some idea. As such, learning grammar would be very difficult. Which reminds me, guys, we will have these classes only till Saturday for free. You will have free classes till Saturday. After that, if you want to continue with XAT classes, you'll have to enroll with iQuanta for the XAT course. And we will be providing you with the class every day for till the day of your exam. I think all of you got this right. The head chef was annoyed to see something in the soup. Soup की बात हो रही है, तो चीफ तो नहीं होगा, चीफ तो नहीं होगा, शेफ हो सकता है, शेफ शेफ शेफ. Housefly is one word. Clearly B. #21. This is a good question. Somebody just corrected herself and got this right. A good thing with XAT parajumbles is that you will get options. It is easier for you to eliminate things. Unlike CAT, you will get options in XAT. So that works in your favor. So first statement is E. The concept of warehouse of stores is not new in India. Next, however, the concept of warehousing has been prevalent over 2000 years. Relating not new with 2000 years. The warehouse has not yet obtained the recognition in modern times. Why? In many parts of the country, traditional castes such as Kothari, Kotwal, Bhandari and Bhandarkar have for generations been dealing in procuring, stocking, distributing goods and merchandise. So they are procuring, stocking and distributing. And thereby warehouse is not being put to good effect. This leads to A. In fact, we say it has not yet obtained recognition. Then we talk about one negative aspect that traditional castes have been using this. In fact, it is considered a dumping ground for unwanted people in quite a few organizations. So guys, clearly E, D, B, A have to be in that order. The only option where I can find this is I hope this is clear. Yes? Alright. Another parajumble. Okay, let's talk about this. A lot of you got this wrong. The answer is D. Let's see. Look at this. It is easy, the record shows, for a government to do harm to its domestic economy. All it has to do, it refers to government. All it has to do is to drive up the inflation rate. Examples of the damage Lyndon's inflationary policies did to the US economy, and the damage while consistently pro-inflammatory policies have done to the economy. So I have 2-1. I leave it there. Okay? Then I have contrary to what economists confidently promised 40 years ago, business cycles have not been abolished. They still operate. Pretty much the way they have been operating for the past 150 years. So I have 3-4 as a mandatory pair. 2-1 has to come together. 3-4 has to come together. I'm not giving you the answer, I'm just telling you 2-1 and 3-4 have to come together. Is there any pair, any statement where 2-1 and 3-4 have to come together? I have 2-1 here. I have 3-4 here. So this could be a possible answer. Do I have 2-1 है, 3-4 नहीं है. 2-1 है, 3-4 I don't have 3-4. I don't have 2-1 and 3-4. Now I have to choose between D and E. Fifth statement. But there is not the slightest evidence that any government policy to stimulate the economy has impact, whether that policy be Keynesian, monetarist, supply side or neoclassical. Clearly this has to be at the end. So I can eliminate this as well, because 5 does not make sense in the middle. Join नहीं होगा. 2-1 3-4 तो होगा ना. 2-1 3-4 has to be together. How can you put 5 over here? 1-5 and 5-3 का कोई connection ही नहीं है. There is no connection between 1 and 5, 5 and 3. What was confusing? Ask me again. I have not given you the answer. I followed the very basic method of following mandatory pairs. So I formed mandatory pair. I just said 2-1 has to come together, 3-4 has to come together. This goes out, this goes out, this goes out. Between D and E, I have to see fifth. Where can fifth be? Fifth cannot come in between 1 and 3. कुछ relation तो होना चाहिए. There has to be some sort of relationship between 1 and 5 and 5 and 3 if 5 has to come in the middle. There is none. Are we clear? ऐसा कुछ नहीं आकाश, होता है स्टार्ट. हम ये मान के नहीं चल सकते कि इट से स्टार्ट नहीं होता है. Also, it is not being used as pronoun here. It is easy. So ऐसा है. This talk about okay. First, ये बोलता है it. All it has to do is to drive up the inflation rate. Inflationary policies have done to the economy of Italy. Now, what does it refer to here? It refers to the government. Because only the government can drive up the inflation rate. Are we clear? Only the government can rise up the inflation rate. So I have 2-1 mandatory pair. Now I take a look at 4. 4 says they still operate. When I talk about they, what does they refer to? They still operate pretty much the way they have been operating. What? Business cycles. Why are we saying they still operate? Because they have not been abolished. So 3-4. I'll take a look at the options. Where all do I have 2-1? I have 2 1 in A. Do I have 3 4 in A? Yeah, I do have. Okay, I have 3 4 2 1. Okay, right. Do I have 2 1? I have 2 1, but I don't have 3 4, so I can eliminate this. Over here, I have 2 4. I don't have 3 1. बचा ये और ये. Now, it has to start with. It is easy. The record says for government because we'll start with the most generic statement first. Government. So 2 1 will come first. Where do I have 2 1 first? So this goes out because 2 1 is not first. Between this D and E, I have to figure out the placement of 5. If I place 5 in the middle, 5 should be connected to 1 and 5 should be connected to 3. There is no relation between 1 and 5 and 5 and 3. So clearly this goes out. Answer is D. Could we follow this now? Sripada? Are we clear with this? No, it's not the odd one out. See, we start with government can harm its economy, and then we see we have a contrast indicator, but, and we're saying government policy to stimulate the economy. So we can use but and actually go ahead with changing the entire tone of the passage. Words like but, however, even though, they can help. मनदीप क्यों नहीं करना ऑप्शन से? ऑप्शंस हैं तो यूज देम ना. Alright guys, I hope this is clear now. How is it alright, Sachin, after 1? I just told you there is a but. So there is a tone changing. Okay, I place it after 1, but how do I place 3 and 4 after 5? 5 बोल रहा है there is a slightest evidence government policies to stimulate, and 3 बोल रहा है business cycles have not been abolished. Government policies to business cycles. How will I go to business? How will I switch? Are we clear with this? सचिन भाई क्या किया था वो मत बताओ, ये बताओ कि जो बताया वो समझ में आया कि नहीं. ओके कूल, ठीक है. How much time do we have? Okay, we have one passage and we have one poem. क्या करना है? पैसेज करना है, पोम करना है? पोम, ओके. There you go. You have one poem. You have 5 minutes. Let's see what you got. Ashish, it doesn't work like that. Sorry. What I can tell you is that these are all previous year's XAT papers. Nothing external. Passage नहीं है Anish. This is a poem. Yes, you do get the recordings as well. So guys, there are people who are getting the answers correct. इतना मुश्किल नहीं है मतलब. कोशिश तो कीजिए. दो क्वेश्चन है, दोनों कीजिए. I'll discuss it with you in a minute. Okay. Guys, the name of the poem is Crossing the River. So there's this author called Sylvia Plath. Sylvia Plath की किताब poem है ये, Crossing the River, and it is talking about death. Black lake, black boat, two black cut paper people. Where do black trees go that drink here? So all black, just to show the darkness. Their shadows must cover Canada. A little light is flittering from the water flowers. Their leaves do not wish us to hurry. They are round and flat and full of dark advice. So यहाँ से लेके यहाँ तक, it's all dark. Cold words shake from the oar. The spirit of blackness is in us. It is in the fishes. A snag is lifting a valedictory pale hand. Stars opening among the lilies. So yes, there is death, but there is hope as well. Are you not blinded by such expressionless silence? This is the silence of abandoned souls. Which of the following options best explain the effect of images in line 1? The atmosphere indicates a cyclical nature. No cyclical, तो कोई बात ही नहीं हुई. We're not talking about cyclical at all. The first line encapsulates the theme of the poem. No, it's not the entire theme of the poem. The images are suffused with an overpowering sense of rebellion. No rebellion has been mentioned. The repeated use of black suggests evil. No, not evil, just darkness. The black lake suggests regenerative potential. Black boat connotes the funerary boat. Cut paper people are unreal. ये तो आप elimination से भी mark करते हैं. Even if you would have eliminated, you would have answered E. Next we have, which of the following options presents a convincing evaluation of the line stars opening among the lilies? अब तो बता दीजिए. Yes, 25th. We've discussed it in the poem. क्या होएगा? Yes. The spirit of blackness does not hinder the appearance of beauty in nature, which is symbolic of hope blossoming in the soul. So this is what a XAT poem looks like. Okay. We don't have enough time for another passage, but I think we can pull this through and this through. चलिए जल्दी से. It's not unreal, it's ethereal. Ethereal, extremely delicate. Have we done this question? Looks like we have. Guys, payoff from expenditure नहीं होता है. Payoff from expenditure नहीं होता है. Payoff from productivity नहीं होता है. बचा D और E. You cannot have a payoff from expenditure. You cannot have a payoff from productivity. You cannot have a payoff from expenditure. You can only have a payoff from investment. Now, slow is saying erratic, useless, predictable, irrelevant. So now, if I take a look at E, if I say over here, I say predictable. If it's predictable, then why is it irrelevant? If it's predictable, then it's relevant, then it's a good predictor of economic change. But if it is erratic, then it is useless as a predictor of economic change. Hence, D. Clear? Okay. One last question. 27th. A lot of you have answered D. Oh, sorry, I've marked it incorrectly. Considerable support from them, not he, not those. Right? I think this is where you went wrong. So guys, this was the first class of BA. Tomorrow we'll be meeting for decision making. Right? Same time, or maybe whatever the time is, you'll get to know. But I hope to see you there tomorrow. And as I said, this is an initiative by iQuanta only for this week. This week the classes are free. From the next week, you will be supposed to enroll in a course with iQuanta. You can do this on the website, right? Those is objective case. See, it will be very difficult to explain it here, but those who had previously challenged his leadership will be incorrect. But it has to be from them who had previously challenged his leadership. How do I explain it? So there is a subjective case of the pronoun and there is the objective case of the pronoun. In this case, support from them. Those will be a subjective case. I need the objective case and hence them. Tell you more about this in a pronoun class. This will be a very lengthy discussion otherwise.